NBC Sports. Brings you the first game of the 1968 World Series. The Detroit Tigers versus the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis and the aerial shot of Busch Memorial Stadium, one of the beautiful new ballparks of baseball, now in its third year of operation, and the famous Gateway Arch, symbolic of St. Louis as the gateway to the West. And a capacity crowd on hand on a hot, muggy afternoon. Hi, everybody. I'm Kurt Gowdy of NBC Sports. This is Harry Carey, the voice of the St. Louis Cardinals. Down on the field and in the stands, roaming around to report to you will be Tony Kubek, also of NBC. And yes, it is Bob Gibson against Denny McLain. And also Mickey Stanley, a center fielder, is going to play shortstop today for the Tigers. These are the two big stories as we open the World Series. Of course, the Cardinals have been made the favorite on their all-around balance and speed. They have stolen 4 times as many bases as the Tigers, but the Tigers have hit twice as many home runs. So it would appear to be speed, balance of the Cardinals against the power of the Tigers, but sports has a precedent sometimes of not coming out the way it was supposed to. And here for 24 years as the outstanding broadcaster of the St. Louis Cardinals has been Harry Carey. And Harry, how does it look to you?
Thank you very much, Kurt. Hello again, everybody. It looks to me as if it's going to be a great series. And in the National League, Kurt, about Bob Gibson, managers of other teams always say, you better get them in the first couple of innings, because if you don't, you never get them. In other words, he has a little trouble finding his stride in the first or second inning. If he is sharp from the beginning, he's going to be a tough guy to beat. Kurt, another thing about this particular first game, in addition to the ballyhoo about McLain and Gibson, two great pitchers, is the fact that the leadoff men of each of these ball clubs, McAuliffe for the Tigers and Brock for the Cardinals, are so instrumental to the offense of their teams. I don't think I've ever seen two ball clubs where the leadoff man is so important to their attack.
Well, I imagine the entire scout report of the Red Sox last year was keep Brock off the bases. They didn't do it. And the Tigers feel the same way. They have to stop Brock today. And McAuliffe led the American League in runs scored. You're right. There'll be two key figures. But right now, Harry, let's go around this beautiful ballpark and have you explain to the fans across the country the dimensions and what makes things go here.
Fine, Kurt. It's a beautiful ballpark, as you have mentioned. There are about 4 tiers, and it's 330 feet down each line, symmetrically perfect, 414 feet to the center field wall, 386 feet to each power alley, which means left center and right center. It's a ballpark in which while the dimensions aren't too big, the ball somehow never seems to carry too much. And yet the Detroit Tigers disproved that in their workout here yesterday, as well as during batting practice today. And it all comes down to the same thing, that if you hit the ball, you hit it. And there's Bob Gibson to the right of your screen, Denny McLain to the left, as each man is getting ready for the most important assignment, I suppose, of his career. They're both fastball pitchers. I know that Kurt will elaborate on that more as we go along. McLain may have a wider assortment, but each thinks that his bread and butter pitch is his fastball. Gibson, a very rhythmic athlete. Everything he does well. He's very effortless. Grace and rhythm in everything he does, whether it be fielding or hitting. This crowd in great anticipation here this afternoon. As Kurt mentioned to you, a capacity. Standing room only was sold today.
For game 1,
now the lineup. Let's listen to them.
1968 World Series. First, Detroit Tigers. Here's the manager of the Tigers, Mayo Smith. Batting first and playing second base, number 3, Dick McCullough. Batting second and playing shortstop, number 24, Mickey Stanley. Batting third and playing right field, number 6, Al Kaline. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 25, Norm Cash. Batting fifth and playing left field, number 23, Willie Horton. Batting sixth and playing center field, number 5, Jim Northrup. Batting seventh and catching, number 11, Bill Freehand. Batting eighth and playing third base, number 8, Don Wirt. Batting ninth and pitching, number 17, Denny McLean, who was warming up in the bullpen.
These are the remaining players on the Tiger squad and the coaches now coming out. And if you're going to keep score here again, the batting order of the Tigers, McCullough's at second leading off, Stanley's at shortstop, Kaline will be hitting third in right field, Cash is the cleanup man at first, Willie Horton hitting fifth in left field, Northrup's in center field batting sixth, Freehand is catching hitting seventh, Wirt is at third base batting eighth, and McLean will be pitching and batting ninth for the Tigers. And of course, after 23 frustrating years, the Tigers are back in the World Series. Their team this year won the most games of any Tiger team in history during a regular season. They're ready, and now we'll have the starting lineup
Now
of
for
the
the St. Louis Cardinals, manager Red Schoendienst. Batting first and playing left field, number 20, Lou Brock. Batting second and playing center field, number 21, Kurt Flood. Batting third and playing right field, number 9, Roger Maris. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 30, Orlando Cepeda. Batting fifth and catching, number 15, Tim McCarver. Batting sixth and playing third base, number 18, Mike Shannon. Batting seventh and playing second base, number 25, Julian Javier. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, number 27, Dal Maxville. Batting ninth and pitching, number 45, Bob Gibson.
Now the remaining members of the Cardinal squad being introduced and their coaches, and of course the Cardinals breezing into another pennant, defending their world championship here today. Lou Brock leading off in left, Kurt Flood's in center, batting number 2. Maris is in right field. Cepeda's the cleanup man, playing first base. Carver catching, hitting fifth. Mike Shannon at third base, batting sixth. Javier is the second baseman, batting seventh. Maxville at shortstop, batting eighth. And Gibson is pitching and batting ninth. We had a light rain here in St. Louis this morning. The sun came out about 10 o'clock and has turned into a muggy, hot afternoon. We have a fairly stiff breeze blowing right now from first base to third base. In other words, balls hit in the air toward left field are going to be given a boost today. So the breeze could be a factor.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join in the singing of our national anthem, which will be played by Dick Renna and his band, and will be sung by Gerald Hutton, who was a teacher in the St. Louis Public Schools.
Oh, sing and you see by the concert line what so proudly we hail as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad light and bright on through the perilous tide. O'er the rampart we won, was so gallantly slain, and the robbers riddled, the humbers singing gave a proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The first game of the 1968 World Series is being brought to you from St. Louis as the Detroit Tigers meet the St. Louis Cardinals.
Today's first game, Tom Gorman is of the National League behind the plate. Jim Hunachek of the American League at first base. Stan Landis of the National League at second base. Bill Kinnaman of the American League at third base. Doug Harvey of the National League down the left field line. And Bill Haller of the American League down the right field line. We pause briefly for station identification. Harry Carey at Bush Memorial Stadium. Mary Ann Peacock is throwing out the first ball. She's held by Jim Hickok there. She's the United Poster Girl. Photographers, of course, recording that event. The governor of the state of Missouri is directly behind her. There she is, Mary Ann Peacock. There's the commissioner of baseball, William Eckert, and Gussie Bush, the president of the St. Louis Cardinals, right next to the commissioner of baseball. So the scene is set, and a little tension now builds up around this beautiful ballpark. The first game of the 1968 World Series is about to start. And in any World Series, the first game is important, but perhaps never quite as important as this year. There go the Cardinals onto the field. And walking slowly to the mound, Bob Gibson, who set a new National League record for earned run average this year, 1.12. And now to bring you the play-by-play on this, the first game of the World Series, NBC's great voice of sports, Kurt Gowdy.
Thank you, Harry. Bob Gibson, who, if he wins today, would become the first National League pitcher to ever win 6 World Series games. Jack Coombs won 5, Three-Finger Brown won 5, Christy Mathewson, a 5-game winner in the World Series. The Major League record for most series victories belongs to Whitey Ford, who won 10. Gibson has won 5 World Series games in a row, 2 in 64 and 3 last year. So he's shooting for several records today. And facing him from Avon, Connecticut, Dick McCullough. who led all the Major League second basemen in homers this year with 16. He has good power for an infielder. He's averaged 15 homers in his last 5 years. McAuliffe, Stanley, and Kaline. McAuliffe wound the season up hitting .249. They're playing him a couple of strides toward right. And the first pitch of the World Series is the ball. McAuliffe has probably the oddest stance. He looks uncomfortable at the plate of any of the batters that you'll see in the World Series. Notice how he holds his bat. A strike, 1-1 now. He's a slasher. Very aggressive at the plate. And he hits line drives to all fields. The 1-1 pitch. Ball 2. 2-1 to Dick McAuliffe. The 2-1 pitch. Pop foul over toward the seats and drifting out of play. That's the Tiger dugout, third base way, and the Cardinals are at first. Bob Gibson will be 33 years old in November. Born and lives in Omaha, Nebraska. They gave him a day there last year after the '67 World Series. Former basketball player with the Harlem Globetrotters. A tremendous all-around athlete. The 2-2 pitch to McAuliffe. He struck him out. Gibson gets his first man. And aside from McLean and Gibson right now, here's the boy that's the talk of the series, Mickey Stanley. The best defensive center fielder in the American League, who is going to be a shortstop today. Fouled off. Harry, I think you could really call this the Gibson lineup for the Tigers. They're trying to get an extra bat in there against Gibson. He's hard to score on. They figure by moving Stanley to the infield, Kaline in right, they'll have a little bit better batting lineup. And it's really a Bob Gibson lineup.
They try to get as much hitting as possible against him.
That's the breaking pitch of Gibson's. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the really audacious moves of World Series history, and Mayo Smith deserves a lot of credit. It takes courage to make a move like that going into a World Series.
And, of course, it's put a lot of pressure on this fella, Mickey Stanley. 2-1. Mickey Stanley was born in Grand Rapids. He lives in Birmingham, Michigan. He's a fellow that has improved himself year by year. At the plate, he's always been a good defensive player. Swinging at a bad pitch, 2-2. He's changed his stance several times. He'll hit behind the runners. He'll go to the opposite field. And he's hit a respectable .259 this year. The 2-2 pitch to Stanley. Fastball is fouled out of play. Gibson poured that one in there. That's his quickest pitch of the game. One factor that Gibson and McLean have in common, tremendous competitors on that mound. They refuse to give in to the hitter. The 2-2 pitch, just a little bit low. 3-2 now.
Boy, that's a great shot right there, Kurt, isn't it?
They can see it all from there. Full count for Mickey Stanley. 1 out, nobody on. There's a line drive in a left field in front of Brock. There's the first base hit of the series. Stanley's on. And Al Kaline, who has been an outstanding performer with the Tigers for 16 years, has always had the dream of playing in a World Series and realizes this goal right now as he steps in. Kaline injured several times this year, out a month with a fractured bone in his arm. There goes the runner. The throw down, and Stanley is out. Javier takes the pass.
Let's watch the play again in slow motion. McCarver got the ball away mighty fast. There's Javier. Now watch the tag. Beautifully done.
Well, the Tigers are starting a center fielder, a shortstop. They run the first time they get a man on. 1-1.
Kurt, it throws. They're not playing a scared hand. They're aggressive.
Kaline still wound up as the leading hitter of the Tigers this year, batting .287. They're deep and a step or two toward left for him. And the 1-1 pitch. Foul back. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Kaline. 2 down, nobody on. First inning, no score. The 1-2 pitch. High. Slider. 2-2. Kaline hit .368 from the middle of August until the windup of the season.
Come on, Bob.
This boy never played a day in the minor leagues. Born in Baltimore. The 2-2 pitch. Struck him out on a good curveball. Well, Gibson has him out of there in the top of the first. No runs, 1 hit, there were no errors, and nobody left. Middle of the first inning, the score, the Tigers nothing, the Cardinals are coming to bat. 31-game winner Denny McLean will face Lou Brock. And here's a study of McLean. His delivery. He's compact. He's powerful. He has good control. And here's another look at him. Now, Lou Brock getting a hand. Don Wirtz in on him at third. Shortstop and second baseman have to come in a couple of steps. What a World Series this fella had last year. He opened the series at Fenway Park. First batter up in the series, had a base hit and then stole second on the first pitch to the next batter. And that set the pattern for Brock and the Cardinals. He broke the all-time World Series record for stolen bases. Wound up hitting over 400 in the series.
He likes to go after the first pitch, Kurt.
Let's see what he does here with McLean. Ball 1. McLean, fastball pitcher, came up with a slider this year. Uses the changeup. Has that cap always pulled down low over his eyes. 1-1 to Lou Brock. And you know, Harry, he was playing the organ last night at 11:30 in one of the lounges there, entertaining some of his teammates. He's quite an organ player.
A better pitcher, though.
He'll argue with you on that. A 1-1 pitch. Inside, ball 2. 2-1 to Brock. Brock finished strong this year. He had nagging injuries early in the season. He wound up hitting .279. Led his league with 62 stolen bases. Led the league in triples. Ground ball to short. Mickey Stanley with his first chance. Throws him out. Well, that'll help Stanley. He's got that first one out of the way.
You'd think that Brock deliberately tried to test him on the very first man up.
Curt Flood. Flood, the most consistent Cardinal batter this year, wound up hitting .301. 5 homers, 60 runs batted in. Ball 1. McLean is a high ball pitcher, except when he comes sidearm. Then his fastball sinks, but you'll see him up around the letters and the shoulders with his fastball a lot. There's that high one, and the ball sails and takes off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Foul back. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Curt Flood. No score. Last of the first inning. Coaching at first for the Cardinals is Dick Sisler. And over at third, Joe Schultz. Flood is being played straight away. He hits to all fields. Now, you notice he dropped down a little bit with his delivery that time. That's what he's been doing this year to right-handers. Ball 2, strike 2 to Kurt Flood. The 2-2 pitch is hit foul into the stands down the right field line. Denny McClain's 31 victories, the most by a major league pitcher since 1931, when Lefty Grove won 31 with the Philadelphia Athletics. McClain started with the White Sox in '62. Was picked up by the Tigers on waivers in 1963. Quite a pickup by them. Fly ball to right field. Al Kaline in the shadows in the corner. 2 down. And playing his last World Series, has finished his last regular season. He's retiring after this series. Roger Maris getting a big hand from the crowd. They had a day for Roger here on Sunday at the end of the season. He wound up hitting .255 this year with 5 homers, 45 RBIs. Two down, nobody on, no score. It's the breaking pitch to right field. Kaline waiting for it. That's it. McClain breezes through the first inning, puts them down 1-2-3. And at the end of the first inning, the score, the Tigers nothing and the Cardinals nothing. This game is authorized under television rights granted by Major League Baseball solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Norman Cash, Willie Horton, Jim Northrup up for the Tigers in the second. Curveball is over for a strike. Cash is the only Tiger starter with previous World Series experience. He was up 4 times as a pinch hitter with the White Sox in 1959. Low to him a ball. And this fella had a great last half of the season. He wound up hitting .263, 25 homers, 63 RBIs. Most of his hitting was done in the second half. Foul back. Born in Justisburg, Texas, lives down in El Dorado, Texas. They're deep and toward right for him. Normally a pull hitter to right field. A 1-2 pitch to Cash. Struck him out in a blazing fastball. Third strikeout for Gibson. Gibson has had an outstanding strikeout record in the World Series. Coming into this game, he had struck out 57 men in 54 innings. That's the strikeout an inning, Harry. One out, nobody on. Power man of the Tigers. They have quite a few of them down through that lineup. Willie Horton takes a strike. Horton hit .285, 36 homers, 85 RBIs. They're deep and toward left for him. Going around to the fastball, strike 2. Horton finished second. And the message from Commissioner Ecker, hoping that you enjoy the game. And we do too, and the entire series. One out, nobody on, no score, top of the second. Curveball. He's got a great curve today, Harry.
Yes, he has, and it's pretty hard to distinguish between his curveball and his slider, Kurt. That one exploded. A year ago against the Red Sox in the first game of the series, Gibson had struck out 4. Watch this ball break. Right over that outside corner. Yes, he's got a good one going.
He has now struck out 4 of the first 5 batters he's faced. Jim Northrup's up. Northrup takes the fastball. Back one on him. Northrup, born in Breckenridge, Michigan, lives in Detroit. Northrup hitting .264 for the year, 21 homers, 90 RBIs. He has some big hits. Strike 2. Bob Gibson had an almost incredible record this year. He didn't win as many games as McClain, but He led the majors in shutouts with 13. Finished with the lowest earned run average in the history of the National League. A ball, 1-2. Wally Moses is coaching at first for the Tigers, and Tony Cuccinell is at third. Tigers have 2 down, nobody on. And he struck out the side, and Gibson has now struck out 5 of the first 6 men he's faced. At the end of an inning and a half, it's the Tigers nothing and the Cardinals nothing. Cepeda, McCarver, and Shannon will be up for the Cardinals in the last half of the second. That's the commissioner's box. There's Commissioner Eckert. On his right is Lynn Townsend, the chairman of the board of Chrysler, and Virgil Boyd, the president of the Chrysler Corporation, Mr. and Mrs. William Salatich, president of Gillette Safety Razor Company, Mr. and Mrs. Casey Stengel are there also in the commissioner's box today. Orlando Cepeda. Ball 1. Cepeda had a disappointing year with a bat, hitting .248, 16 homers, 73 runs batted in. Most valuable player in the National League last year. There's the sidearm delivery that McLean came up with this year. 1-1. So Cepeda, who had trouble hitting in last year's World Series, is anxious to atone for 67. The 1-1 pitch is ball 2, 2-1. Well, Harry, sports has a way of never coming out the way you think it will, but 3 things should happen today if these 2 fellows are right. Should have a low-scoring game. They'll both be around at the finish, and it could be one of the quickest games in World Series history. Foul ball. These 2 fellows don't mess around out there. They pitch.
I'm intrigued by the style of McLean. You mentioned it before, Kurt, about how he throws everything up high. You know, in the National League, pitchers that throw pitches high usually get beat. But he's so effective and he's so strong that he can pitch what is usually a weakness for a pitcher, and he makes a strength out of it.
American League fans had some concern that they call high pitches strikes in the American League and not so much in the National League. There's a National League umpire behind the plate, Tom Gorman. The 2-2 delivery to Cepeda, fouls it back. Watch Cepeda when he swings. He strides in. He walks right into that pitch. He has good power to all fields. He can hit the ball a long ways to right center. He should like Tiger Stadium. This park puts more stress on defense and pitching. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Foul into the stand. You talked, Harry, about McLean being strong. He led the American League in complete games, and he led the majors in innings pitched this year. He's been a real workhorse. The 2-2 pitch, foul back. He works with 3 days rest. Gibson worked with 4 days rest. Of course, Gibson now is 8 years older. But McLean likes only 3 days rest all year.
Could you say that Gibson is a young 32 and McLean, in pitching savvy, knowledge, and ability, is an old 24?
I think that would be an apt description. Nobody on, nobody out. The 2-2 pitch. He went out there, a wide breaking pitch, popped it up in the shallow center. There's Northrup in under it for the out. Cepeda was reaching for that one.
A good change of pace that time. He really had him fooled, Kurt. He was way out in front, as the fans could tell if they were watching.
That's Tim McCarver, batting .253 for the year, 5 homers, 48 RBI. McCarver fell off along with Cepeda in batting. And he also had trouble in last year's World Series hitting. There's a drive into right center. That one may be in the gap. It's all the way out to the fence. McCarver is coming for 3. Here's the throw. Wide. He's in there with a triple. Gets away, but backed up by McLean. McCarver triples to right center. So he's on third now with one out. And the Cardinals have the first scoring opportunity. Mike Shannon, a clutch hitter this year for the Cardinals. He had 266, knocked in 79 runs with 15 homers. He's the only St. Louis-born player here on the Cardinal roster. The Tigers are bringing the infield in. The outfield's deep. Step or two toward left. McCarver on third, one out. McCarver runs well, too, for a catcher. Probably the fastest catcher in baseball. A ball, 1-0. One nothing pitch. Lays off of there. The tough pitch to lay off, too. 2-0. McLean is behind Shannon, 2-0. McCarver third, one out. No score, last of the second. Hit sharply foul down the third baseline. Two and one to Shannon. Playing ready now for the 2-1 pitch. Foul back. 2-2. Blaine asked for a new ball. I wonder how he could see his signal the way he tucked that cap down over his eyes, Harry.
Well, that's those contact lenses, I guess.
He has one white and one tinted contact lens, too.
Yeah, you mentioned McCarver's speed for a catcher, which is so true. 2 years ago, he had 13 triples. It's quite odd for a catcher to have that many triples.
2-2 to Shannon. A runner on third, one out. The Cardinals threatening here in the second. Struck him out with a fastball. So a neat recovery by McLean, who had dropped behind him 2-0 and then struck him out. And now with two down, the Tigers back the infield up, and Julio Javier is coming up. This first game of the 1968 series is being brought to you live and in color exclusively on NBC, where more people watch sports than on any other network. Javier hitting .260 for the year. 4 homers, 52 runs batted in. He had a fine series against the Red Sox last year. He hit .360 in last year's 7-game series.
Kurt, here's a high fastball hitter right here, Javier.
He's down low, 1-0. These two clubs have a book on each other. Pages and pages of scouting reports. Two down, McCarver at third. 0-0, last of the second. A little bit high. From McLean. Got behind Shannon 2-0. Now he's behind Javier 2-0. You see that pitcher getting behind batters early. You wonder if he's going to have his great day. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Right back in with a fastball for a strike. 2-1. McLean pitched well on the road. He won 17 and lost only 2 away from Tiger Stadium this past year. The 2-1 pitch. Right, and on top of him, 3-1 now. Gibson had a 3-2 count on Stanley in the first inning. McLean now is 3-1 to Javier. Tim McCarver at third, 2 down. Three-one delivery. Foul back. Three and 2. If you've joined us late, 1 hit for each club. Stanley singled in the first for the Tigers, and McCarver has tripled here in the last of the second for the Cardinals. Javier from the Dominican Republic started his big league career with the Pirates. McLean pitching 3-2. Right in there for strike 3. So McLean strikes out Shannon and Javier with a runner on third and 1 out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. And at the end of 2 innings, no score. Let's go down now in the stands to Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt. I'm sitting with the Commissioner of Baseball, General Eckert. General Eckert, looks like a fine World Series, a fine pitching duel.
Another great World Series, 2 great teams, great pitching contests, and I want to thank all of these hundreds of millions of fans that have supported our great game for all these years, and particularly since I've been commissioner.
Commissioner, thank you so much. Now let's get back to live action.
Bill Freehan took the first pitch for a ball. Leading off here in the third. Going after one of Gibson's breaking pitches for a strike, 1-1. Freehan hitting .263 at 25 homers, 84 runs batted in. Fastball for a strike. Gibson has struck out 5 of the first 6 men. And Harry, this game is proceeding as billed.
Just according to script. A tremendous pitching duel.
The 1-2 pitch. Ball 2. He didn't commit himself. Checked his swing. 2-2.
I thought it was significant that McLean got his first strikeouts when there was a runner at third and only 1 out.
2-2 to Bill Freehan, a former Michigan football star. Fouls it back. Well, Gibson, maybe 32. I can't see where he's lost anything off that fastball, Harry. He's quick.
He'll be around a long time, barring an injury.
A 2-2 pitch to Freehan. 3-2. Gibson a little unhappy with that pitch. Got away from him.
I think more a little unhappy with himself, as you said, that the pitch got away from him. He was sort of off balance when he threw the pitch.
So this is his second 3-2 count in the game. And here it is to Freehan, and it fouls it back. You see these batters fouling pitches off, swinging late, hitting fouls in the seats to the opposite field. You know both these men have stuff. They just can't get around on them. Nobody on, nobody out. The 3-2 pitch to Freehan. High foul, drifting back again. Bob Gibson had the second best shutout total in modern baseball history since 1900 this year. 13 shutouts. The 3-2 pitch. Stroke foul down the third base line.
And Kurt, for the first time in his career, and he's very proud of it, too, he was the strikeout champ of the league with 268 strikeouts.
If he continues this pace, he's going to be the strikeout champ of all time in the series. 3-2. 3-2 pitch. Strike three. Brian may not have committed himself, but I believe that pitch was on the outside corner anyway. Gibson sharp curve. He has now struck out 6 of the first 7. The all-time record for most strikeouts in a World Series game, 15, held by Sandy Koufax for the Dodgers in 1963. Gibson has 6, and we're only in the 3rd inning. 1 out, nobody on. Don Word up. Nothing and 1 to Word, who hit 200 this year, 12 homers, 37 RBIs. Don lives in New Providence, Pennsylvania. That's strike 2. Right now, Bob Gibson is challenging an all-time World Series record. He has struck out 5 in a row, and the all-time record is 6. If he gets word on a strikeout, he'll tie the all-time World Series record. Oh, didn't miss by much. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Word. We have 1 out, nobody on, no score in the 3rd. Word singles into center field. That's the 2nd hit for the Tigers, and brings up Denny McLean, who's a good bunter, by the way. He led the American League in sacrifice bunts. He had 16 of them during the year. No runs, 2 hits for the Tigers. No runs, 1 hit for the Cardinals. 1 away, Word on first. Strike to McLean. Dick McAuliffe on deck at the top of the Tiger batting order. And McLean trying to bunt again, fouls it back. Now it's 0-2. Look down to Tony Cuccinella at 3rd for a sign. He's out. Strikeout for the pitcher and a put out for the catcher. Trying to bunt on the 3rd strike. Fouls it back. 7 strikeouts for Bob Gibson. Top of the order, Dick McAuliffe, who struck out in the 1st inning.
Kurt, the most strikeouts in one game this year for Gibson was 15, and strangely enough, he lost that game.
2 down for the Tigers. Don Word at first. Curve is over for a strike. Gibson's always been a pressure pitcher, doing his best jobs when it means the most. Today, he looks more determined than ever, Harry.
I'll make a comment on that in a moment.
The ground ball hit down to Cepeda. Steps on the bag for the out, and that's it for the Tigers in the 3rd. No runs, 1 hit, there were no errors, and 1 left. At the end of 2.5 innings, it's the Tigers nothing and the Cardinals nothing. Tony Kubek.
Lou, got one of the top sportsmans in the country, Mr. Frank Sinatra. Frank, who are you picking in the series?
I like the Cardinals in about 5 games, Tony. I think, first of all, I think Gibson is pitching so great today. I think he's marvelous.
I don't mean this as a pun, but he's really humming. Better than you.
Oh, yeah.
Frank, thank you so much. Let's go back upstairs now to Kurt and Harry.
Dal Maxville leading off in the last of the 3rd for the Cardinals. A ball to him. Maxville had the best average of his career this year, hitting .252. 1 homer, 24 runs batted in for him. Born in Granite City, Illinois, lives now in St. Louis. McLean is behind 2-0.
Kurt, an odd statistic for an 8th-place hitter like Dal Maxville is the fact that he also led the team in drawing bases on balls.
3-0. McLean is struggling just a little here today, right now, with his control. He fell behind both Shannon and Javier in the 2nd, but then came back to get him out. Now he's behind 3-0 to Maxville. And he walked him on 4 pitches. there's the first walk of the game. Bob Gibson, a 170 batter, the pitcher. He's no out at the plate. He's a threat up there. Good base running, a good fielder in his position.
I don't know whether some of these fans are standing up to give Gibson a standing ovation or whether they're just getting up to get a look at Frank Sinatra. But at any rate, a lot of them came to their feet.
Maxwell on first. Nobody out, no score, last of the third. Lou Brock will be on deck. The strike to Gibson. Cash was charging from first, Word in from third. And McAuliffe going over to cover first and second base. These are the plays now that Mickey Stanley won't do out of an automatic reflex action. That's shortstop. Good bunt. McLean will have to make the play to McAuliffe at first base. Sacrifice for Gibson. And he's out from McLean, the pitcher, to McAuliffe, the second baseman. In scoring position now is Del Maxville. One out in the top of the order for the Cardinals. Lou Brock will be up. Brock rounded out his first time. Brock, born in El Dorado, Arkansas, lives now in Olivet, Missouri. He's still only 29 years old. He has some good years ahead of him. Nothing to nothing, but once again, the Cardinals are threatening. Third baseman Word is playing shallow again. Brock puts that pressure on the infield. You have to come in against him. Foul back. And when they move in, of course, he can slap that ball through easier.
Kurt, I believe about 75% of Brock's hits are towards left field. He sure likes to hit to the opposite field.
Willie Horton is shading that left field line. No balls and one strike to Brock. Maxville's at second, one out. Just a little bit inside to him. 1-1. Remember, there's a fairly stiff breeze blowing from first toward third today. The temperature's in the 80s, and it's a muggy afternoon here. Bouncer to the mound. They may have a run-up down here. He's out. Coming over to cover is Mickey Stanley. McLean to Stanley for the out on Maxwell.
Watch the play again. McLean makes the play perfectly. First running towards the man, and then flipping quickly to Stanley. No doubt about his being out, was there?
McLean knew what he was doing as soon as that ball started back to him, Harry.
Listen to the crowd. You know what they expect.
All right, now this is a story now. Can McLean hold Brock? How about Freehan's arm against Brock? McLean is quick with his feet down. He's pretty good at holding runners. And the crowd yelling, go, go, go. Ball one.
I thought he'd go on the first pitch, Kurt. He usually does, but he wants to make sure that he can read McLean.
He stole 25 bases his last 28 games of the season. Two down, Brock at first. There he goes. The throw. He's in there easily. He'll be up and on his way to third. Lou Brock steals second. They'll probably charge Freehan with an error on the throw into center field.
The pressure that he puts on the pitcher and the whole defense was obvious right there. Not only that, but it gives his hitter a better opportunity, a man like Flood, because pitchers usually will pitch out. Therefore, they fall behind Flood, and he can deliver base hits on fat pitches.
I think there's something wrong with Brock, Harry. They're calling the trainer of the Cardinals out. Looks like his shoulder or his right arm.
It could have been worse, his legs, because he's the franchise with those speedy feet of his.
Last year's World Series, he stole 7 bases in 7 attempts to set an all-time World Series record. He might have hurt himself when he got up at second base after sliding in and starting over to third.
Sort of got tangled up. That's Bob Bowman, the trainer of the St. Louis Cardinals, talking to him. And Joe Schultz is the third base coach. And Kurt probably will be announced as the manager of the new Seattle franchise of the American League following the World Series.
The Cardinals have 2 down. Lou Brock at third. The score is 0-0. Last of the third inning, and Kurt Flood's the batter. He flied to right field his first time. Once again, they play him straight away. Tries a bunt. He'll do that. He'll disguise that bunt till the last second, drop that bat. He's an excellent bunter down the third baseline. Fouls it off. Two and one now. Two down. McLean watches Brock over at third. We got a big walking lead. McLean pitches quickly to change his rhythm out there. 2-2. Which is a good way to bother that base runner. Changing your delivery, the rhythm of it. Here's the 2-2 pitch. 3-2. McLean has thrown quite a few pitches here in his first 3 innings. Probably more than normal for him. And remember, it's a hot, muggy day. 2 down, Brock at third. The 3-2 pitch to Kurt Flood. Goes after a high fastball and pops it up. Don Wirth gives way to Mickey Stanley and back of the mound for the out. And once again, McLean pitches out of trouble with a man in scoring position. No runs, no hits. There was 1 error, 1 left at the end of 3. No score. And Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt. I'm with Warren Giles, president of the National League. Warren, looks like another fine series.
Yes, it does, Tony. Really, really a great pitching duel out there.
Mr. Giles, thank you so much. Let's get back to Bob Gibson, the Cardinals.
Great series.
Live action. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Mickey Stanley singled his first time up, leads off with the Tigers. Gibson breaks his curve over for a strike. Bob Gibson has struck out 7 men in the first 3 innings, allowed 2 singles, no walks. Strike 2. 0-2. Al Kaline will follow, and then Norm Cash. That was a ball. 1-2 to Stanley. One-two pitch. Is hit to right field. Maris over toward the line. Right in the corner for it. There's 1 away. Stanley flies to Roger Maris.
Just to have an idea, Kurt, where is that ball at Tiger Stadium?
Wouldn't have made it, Harry. It's 325 down the right field line in Tiger Stadium. I'd say that ball was hit about 315 feet. Al Kaline struck out his first time. of all, the youngest man to ever win a batting title in American League history. He was a couple of months younger than Ty Cobb was when Cobb won his first batting title at the age of 20. Breaking pitch in, 1-1 to Kaline. Kaline's been a player like Willie Mays. He can beat you so many different ways with the glove, the bat, throwing, running. Very sound. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Kaline. There's 1 out here. We're in the 4th inning and there's no score. Gibson and McLean going along about the way everyone thought. The 1-2 pitch, 2-2. Kaline has been the Golden Glove winner in each of the last 7 seasons as top outfielder in the game, one of the tops. Here's the 2-2 pitch to him. Foul right back. And that hit one of our monitors.
If I'd have had my nets, we'd have had a baseball up here.
Yeah. One out, nobody on, the 2-2 pitch. Look out, that one slipped off the fingertip of Gibson. 3-2. This is his third 3-2 count in the game.
You can tell how hot it is down on that field,
both
Kurt.
pitchers are just firing. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 in the outside corner. 8 strikeouts for Bob Gibson. He has hit those corners today. 3 of his strikeouts have been called strikes, and they were right on that corner. Norman Cash struck out his first time. Gibson has had 2 strikes in every batter except McAuliffe in the 3rd. So we're still 0-0 here in the 4th inning. Tigers have 2 hits. The Cardinals have 1 hit. Right now it's 2 down, nobody on. They're deep and over toward right for Cash. All 1 to him. Notice how deep Kurt Flood is out there in right center. Fly ball out to Flood, has to come on, waiting. That's it. And the Tigers are down 1-2-3 in the 4th. At the end of 3.5, it is still the Tigers nothing and the Cardinals nothing. You know, NBC is truly the World Series network. Not only will we continue to bring the World Series, but January 12th and 69, NBC will bring you the World Series of Pro Football, the Super Bowl, and in March, the NCAA Basketball Championship, the World Series of College Basketball. And, of course, again next year, the World Series of Baseball, all on NBC. Roger Maris takes ball 1. They've already announced the paid attendance. 54,692. McLean is behind him 2-0. That's the 5th batter now. McLean's been behind on in the game, 2-0. 3-0. They have a banner they have hung on the wall out there in left center, and they're asking the fans to remove it. 3-0 pitch. He walks him on 4 pitches. The second walk given up by McLean. Has been a good control pitcher all year, and he is not as sharp with his control today, I know, as he'd like to be. He averaged only 1.7 walks per 9 innings this year. In other words, he walked just a little bit under 2 men a game. He's walked 2 here and been in danger of walking several others. Orlando Cepeda flying out his first time. Harris at first, nobody out. 5 balls in a row now delivered by McLean. Maris at first. A 1-0 pitch to Cepeda. 2-0. 6 balls in a row delivered by McLean. And now Mayo Smith is coming out, the manager of the Tigers. He wants to talk to McLean. This is the first World Series as a player, a coach, or a manager for Mayo Smith. Now, what do you think he said to him, Harry?
Go get him, kid.
Yeah.
You know, Mayo Smith and Red Shandies proved that nice guys win. What two wonderful gentlemen.
They certainly are. 2-0 to Orlando Cepeda. Fouls a high fastball back, and it's 2-1. The outfield deep and straight away for Cepeda. Left-handed batter McCarver's on deck. Here's the 2-1 pitch. It's 3-1 now. Cepeda only hit .248 this year, but he led the Cardinals in game-winning hits in the late innings. 3-1 to Cepeda. Maris at first. Now the count's 3-2. Cepeda's father, Pedro Cepeda, was regarded as the greatest player in the history of Puerto Rico. Orlando spends his off-season in his native country. 0-0. Last of the fourth. Roger Maris is at first. Nobody out. 3-2 count to Orlando Cepeda, who pops it up. Waiting for it is Norm Cash, the Tiger first baseman in foul territory, reaching over as if Maris were going to be off the bag. 1 out. But once again, McLean shows you what a competitor he is. Getting behind a batter and then recovering. He's had to do that now 4 or 5 times. It's been a tougher struggle for him today than Bob Gibson so far. Tim McCarver tripled to right center his first time. And he was left on third in the second inning when McLean struck out Shannon and Javier. A ball with a left-handed batter up. Cash is playing off the bag against Maris. One ball, no strikes. 2-0 again. 3 batters this inning behind each of them, 2-0. This usually gets a pitcher in trouble sometimes. Can't just keep getting behind them.
You can't help but think along that line.
Two and nothing. Three and 0. Three and nothing to Tim McCarver. And he walks him on 4 pitches. He walked Maris on 4 pitches. The third walk given up by McLean, who's having an off day on his control. Gibson has not walked a man. This is the largest crowd in the history of Bush Memorial Stadium today. It'll be something in Tiger Town, too, Harry, when we get up there. They've had the grand ticket hunt on in recent days.
Kurt, I guess this will be the first World Series between two clubs, each of which drew more than 2 million at home.
Mike Shannon struck out his first time. The Cardinals have runners on first and second, one out. They have threatened in each of the last 3 innings. The strike. There's still no score. Nothing in 1 to Shannon. Uh-oh, look out. Down he goes. 1-1 to him. The Cardinals are going to represent Major League Baseball on the annual tour of Japan this year. Shannon told me before the game he's going bear hunting over there with a crossbow. Like most of the ball players, he likes to hunt and fish. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fouls a sidearm fastball out of play, and it's 1-2. Roger Maris at second base. Tim McCarver at first, 1 out. No score in the last of the 4th inning. A 1-2 pitch to Mike Shannon. Foul again back. Both Gibson and McLean, why they're such outstanding pitchers, their fastballs really move. They don't, and not only just throw hard, but their fastballs are coming in and sailing and swerving and moving. That's why you've seen so many foul balls back in the seats. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Changed up, 2-2. Runners on first and second, 1 out. Two and 2 pitch coming up to Mike Shannon. There's a base hit to left field. Harris is rounding third. Willie Horton fumbles the ball. Coming over to third is McCarver. And into second goes Shannon. And the Cardinals take the lead. Shannon singles to left, scoring Maris. When Horton couldn't come up with the ball, McCarver raced to third, and on the throw to third, Shannon went into second. An error's been charged on Willie Horton. That's the second Tiger error of the game. Runners on second and third, 1 out, and the Cardinals ahead 1-0. Javier struck out his first time. And he hits it in the right field. This will score maybe 2. Kaline fires to the plate, not in time, and the Cardinals lead 3-0 on Javier's single to right. And so the control troubles that McLean was getting into behind on the batters. The Cardinals finally caught up with him here in the 4th and have scored 3 runs.
How many times, Kurt, have you heard Pee Wee Reese or Sandy Koufax talk about how expensive bases on balls are?
Both the men that walked here have come in to score. Mayo Smith, the Tiger manager now. 1 out, a runner on first, 3 runs in. Ball 1 to Del Maxville. There's Shane Dienst, the Cardinal manager. His club has grabbed the lead in the opening game. The 1-0 pitch, runner going. Throw down, not in time. A stolen base for Javier. That's the second stolen base for the Cardinals, and Javier comes up limping. Lou Brock, after sliding in the third, complained of evidently a shoulder or an arm condition. Well, the series was billed as the Cardinals' speed and the Tigers' power. There's a high fly ball out to Willie Horton in left field. Javier plays it halfway and goes back to second. 2 down, and Bob Gibson will be up. So far, the Cardinals have stolen 2 bases. Bob Gibson receiving the big hand as he steps in. Gibson has struck out 8 men in his first 4 innings. Gibson had a sacrifice bunt his first time up. Javier at second, 2 down. A ball to Bob Gibson. One and one to Gibson. Three runs in for the Cardinals, last of the 4th. They're leading 3-0. A 1-1 pitch. Ball to 2-1. Javier on second. 2 out. And the 2-1 pitch is hit foul down the third baseline. 2-2. The real oddity, Harry, to me, is this is the exact batting order that the Cardinals had for the opening game of the World Series last year. Most clubs change somewhat and make trades, retire, rookies come in, but the Cardinals have the same batting order they opened in Boston in the series last year. Strike 3 as Gibson goes down. Third strikeout for McLean, but a 3-run inning for the Cardinals on 2 hits. 1 error and 1 left. At the end of 4, the Cardinals lead 3-0. The World Series is one of the most glamorous sports spectacles in the world. But you know, every one of the 1,620 games during the season leading up to the series were just as fiercely fought. And we hope you enjoyed them all the way if you watched your local Major League club play around the country, or if you watched the Game of the Week on NBC television. Major League Baseball. All right, in the 5th inning, Bob Gibson will face Willie Horton, Jim Northrup, and Bill Freehan. Horton struck out, took a called third strike his first time. It's a high pop-up, backpedaling for it is Javier, the second baseman. 1 away. Jim Northrup struck out his first time. 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Cardinals, no runs, 2 hits, and 2 errors for the Tigers. 8 strikeouts for Gibson, no walks, and he's allowed 2 singles. The Tigers were the best comeback team in baseball this year. I think over 40 times they pulled games out in the 8th or 9th innings when they were behind. So don't count them out. Ball 1. They were almost unbelievable the way they'd come from behind. One ball, no strikes. Fouls it off and hits umpire Tom Gorman. That hurt. Incidentally, you're seeing a National League umpire behind the plate today. He wears his chest protector inside his coat. Tomorrow, an American League umpire will be working. He'll have the chest protector outside the coat. And the National League umpire works to the side of the catcher on balls and strikes, while the American League umpire is right behind the catcher. Two and one. He's just a little bit to the side. Or works between the catcher and the batter on that angle. Foul back, 2 and 2.
Come on, Kitty. Let's go.
This boy up right now, Jim Northrup, was third in the American League and runs batted in. That's lamp black, by the way, under his eyes. The players wear that, the reflection of the sun. 3 and 2. Well, Gibson's had 4 3-2 counts in the game, but he hasn't walked anyone yet. The 3-2 pitch. Line drive to the shortstop. Darryl Maxwell timing his jump to go up for it. 2 down.
Let's watch that play again, Kurt. Maxwell will time it perfectly. And that's how it's done.
That one nearly ripped his glove off. That's the hardest hit ball for the Tigers so far. Ball 1 to Bill Freehan, who struck out his first time. There are 2 down, nobody on. The Cardinals leading 3-0. Curve is low, 2-0. Gibson's been using a fastball, a slider, and a curve. The 2-0 pitch. 3-0. This is his first 3-0 count. Nelson Briles against Mickey Lolich tomorrow, a right-hander and a left-hander. There's the first walk given up by Gibson. Freehan's on first. Hitting number 8 in the Tiger order, Don Wirtz coming up. He singled to center his first time. Two down. Freehan at first. Strike to Wirtz. And with 2 away and Freehan at first, Cepeda plays off the bag, even though a right-hander's up there. Denny McLean's due up next. Blew the fastball by him, strike 2. Eddie Matthews just picked up a bat in the Tiger dugout. They might pinch hit for McLean if they get to him. The 2-strike pitch is strike 3. They won't get to him this inning. 9 strikeouts for Bob Gibson. He may be challenging the all-time series record of 15 strikeouts. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. And at the end of 4 1/2 innings, it's the Cardinals 3 and the Tigers nothing. Get down to our roving shortstop, Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt. Down here we've got Stan Musial. Stan, you put this Cardinal ball club together, helped you. They look good. You must be proud of them.
We certainly are, Tony. And of course, we have a great all-around club. Just a great club. Sure do.
I haven't seen Gibson blow too many 3-run leads. You think he'll hold them?
He's tough. He's a great competitor and a good pitcher.
Stan Musial, thank you so much. Let's go back upstairs.
Now for the last half of the game, to call the play-by-play, the voice of the Cardinals, Harry Carey.
Thank you very much, Kurt. Brock fouls off the first pitch. It's 3-0 St. Louis. Gibson has fanned 9 men in 5 innings. And that's what he had at the end of the first 5 last year in the opener at Boston. Had a cut. Brock, who hit .279 during the course of the season. That's 6 homers. Loves to hit the ball to the opposite field. One of the most exciting ball players in the game. in time. Downward throws out Lou Brock. That'll bring up Curt Flood. He, too, is hitless. Cardinals put together 2 timely hits after 2 costly bases on balls for their 3 runs in the 4th. Curt Flood, strangely enough, the only 300 hitter on either team. One of the smallest men, but the biggest hitter. Another souvenir for somebody behind the plate in the stands. This is Curt's 3rd World Series. Had the most hits of any Redbird during the season. Good fastball cut to corner. 2 strikes, no ball. 1 out and nobody on. Cardinals out in front, 3-0. Biggest crowd ever to see a baseball game here. 54,692. Sky high. McAuliffe backing up. He has it. So that's 2 away as Flood pops out to McAuliffe. Here's Roger Maris. He started it all in the 4th inning with a base on ball. Playing his final World Series, ending a great career. Hit the most home runs of any man in history in one season. Foul ball back. A play only by a fan. It's hot and it's humid. Ideal baseball weather in St. Louis. Right at the first. Oh, right through it. The ball didn't come up, and Maris is safe. Let's see how they ruled it. The ball was sharply hit. Cash was expecting it to take a bounce about belt high. Instead, it hugged the ground right through his legs, and it'll be an error. That's the 3rd Tiger error. Here's Cepeda, nothing out of 2. Cardinals have had only 3 hits. A triple by McCarver, the 1 for naught, and singles by Shannon and Javier. The record for errors in a World Series game. Cepeda waiting. High pop foul out of play. Orlando was trying to hit to the opposite field. Tigers have had 3 errors. The totals read no runs, 2 hits, 3 errors. The Cardinals, 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors.
You know, Harry, you were talking about the Cardinals getting only 2 hits in that 4th inning, but the way they ran the bases, you can see how their speed has helped them.
They're great on that 1st to 3rd, Kurt. Cepeda, high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Orlando in his 3rd World Series. With the Giants in 62, he hit 158. With the Cardinals last year, 103. He's anxious to have a good one. His teammates think he will, starting at Detroit. Fouled out of play, strike 2. The fact that the Detroit ball club, they think, is made to order for him. In that he hits the ball towards right field, right center, and left center. Denny McLain is trailing 3-0. McLain, who had great control all year long, has already walked 3 men, and 2 of those walks resulted in runs. There's a drive, but foul. Look out in the Stadium Club. It hit up against the window in the Stadium Club. Thank goodness that is unbreakable up there, and it hit it with tremendous force.
Somebody would have had a baseball for lunch.
Baseball a la mode. 2 strikes and a ball. Barely missed with a curveball. Word at third base, playing deep. Stanley at shortstop. McAuliffe playing near second base. Cash has to hold Maris on. Bill Freehan giving the signal. Long drive, deep left field. Horton back. Oh, one-handed stab, beautiful play. Willie Horton made a fine stab, and that ends the inning. No runs, no hits, one error, one left. At the end of 5, St. Louis 3, Detroit nothing. With Kurt Gowdy and Tony Kubek, this is Harry Carey at Bush Memorial Stadium. Tommy Matchik, an infielder, is going to be the pinch hitter for Denny McLean. Matchik, 24 years old, started in the Cardinal organization, by the way. Left-handed hitter. Born in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, now lives in Freeland. Tommy Matchik, M-A-T-C-H-I-C-K. So Denny McLean goes out after pitching 5. McLean allowed 3 hits, 3 runs in his 5 innings. Walk 3. Matchik fouling it back. 1 ball and a strike. Matchik had 3 homers, drove in 14 runs. One of the homers was a dramatic one to win a big ball game for the Tigers. When their race with Baltimore was close.
Too bad it didn't come in there.
Soon after that, they fatten up the gap. A little low with the fastball. 2 balls and a strike. Dick McAuliffe, the leadoff man, next. There's a good fastball in there. Gibson is fan 9 already. Pat Dobson is warming up for the Tigers. High pop foul. May stay in play. Shannon can't reach it. Ha-ha, how about that? A lady comes up with the ball. Is she happy? She'll be telling the whole neighborhood how she grabbed that ball. Tom Matchik on a 2-2 situation. Cardinals are leading 3-0. But everybody is aware of the late inning tendencies of these Tigers. Foul back. Matchik had a good cut. The Tigers drafted Matchik from the Cardinals in the player draft after the '62 season. Only 24 years old. Barely missed, and McCarver thought it caught the corner. I thought it had the corner, Tom, said McCarver. And Tom says, well, I say it didn't. A little tap. Gibson's going to cover first. From Cepeda to Gibson. 1 away.
That Gibson really moves off that mound, Harry.
He is a cat. There is no question about it. Well, he was an outstanding basketball player at Creighton University and then played with the Harlem Globetrotters. And you know how nimble and agile and quick they are. He can do everything, Gibson. Above all, he can throw that ball mighty hard and win. McAuliffe. Base hit. Sharply hit, too, into right field. McAuliffe pulls a single to right. That's a 3rd hit off Gibson. Never more than 1 in any inning. The Tigers haven't had anybody beyond first base. Gibson has walked 1, allowed 3 hits. So 4 men have reached base, but nobody has gone into what is now virgin territory at 2nd and 3rd for the Tigers. This is Mickey Stanley. Singled and flied out. Good fastball at the knees. Tigers trying to put a big inning together, and this is something they do frequently. Mickey Stanley hit .259 during the season. Slider caught the corner. He stopped his swing, but it was in there.
Tiger game this year has been the home run ball. When they don't get the home runs in a game, they've had their problems. Gibson gave up only 11 home runs all year. He's not a fella known to give up homers.
Stanley swings and strikes out. That's number 10 for Gibson. 15 in World Series game is the record. Here's Al Kaline. He's fanned twice. The move of Stanley to shortstop hasn't hurt the Tiger defense at all so far today. Base hit, maybe extra bases. A runner on second on his way to third. Kaline going into second base with a double. And the Tigers have something going. Runners at second and third. And further justification of manager Mayo Smith's daring move. So far, Stanley hasn't hurt them defensively at short, and Kaline, by being in the lineup, has given them their first scoring opportunity with a double that puts runners at second and third. But there are two out, and Norm Cash, McCarver, and Gibson. Both of them are real good needlers of each other, Kurt. And they prod each other into better performances.
Gibson's actually the needler of the ball club, isn't he, in the clubhouse?
Yes, he's the champ. Norm Cash struck out and flied out. Ooh, he had a good cut, but he didn't connect. So the Tigers now have had men to second and third. And now they have a chance to bring them across the plate. But there are two out. Little low. That was a good moving fastball. Gibson throws two kinds of fastballs. One that kind of jumps a little bit, and another one that sinks. There's a breaking ball, and it is a dandy. He really snapped one off that time. It's hot and muggy down on that field. Cash in the hole. Struck him out. The 11th strikeout. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Cardinals 3, Detroit nothing. Shortstop in history. Here again, Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Harry. We're talking down here to one of the grand old men in baseball, Casey Stengel. Casey, nice to see you at the ballpark. Nice to see you looking so healthy.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you here, Quebec. The last World Series is in was 1916. You was playing for me, and you got hit in the Adam's apple.
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, it's all right. It hurt us that day.
What about this World Series, Casey? Do you have a favorite? Gibson looks tough, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. He is a terrific pitcher because he is 4, 5, 6 years. He's pitched 10 years, and he goes 27 innings every time he's been in the World Series. And I would have to say that you have to be a very good hitter to hit at him, and he doesn't walk too many men. He's a good fielder. He's a good hitter, and he's very alert. He's done a terrific job for the club, and of course, it's a good club. And that's a good club, too, you have over there. You have a couple of boys that I know fairly well, over there. Sane used to work for me, too, and I think your pitcher's been a little wild up to here today.
Casey, what about Lou Brock? You were a pretty good base stealer in your day. He can really motor, can he?
You said it. He's got that go, 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 go. And he goes, and he makes the boys a little nervous, and the catcher's anxious. Sometimes they throw a little faster than what you would expect anybody to do. He is really fast and does the job. He does a terrific job.
What do you think about the outcome of the series? Do you think Gibson winning this game, if he should, do you think it's the end of the series?
Well, I think this fellow is good to last 3 games. He finishes so many games. Both of them do that. But the best thing that I can see about what he's going to do, really and truly, is that the club behind him there, that after this, I would say your center fielder is going to maybe make the left fielder do a great job.
Casey Stengel, thank you so much. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, Tony. He is something, that grand old man.
Speaking of being alert, he's still alert, isn't he?
I should say. Here's Tim McCarver, bottom of the 6th, Cardinals leading 3-0. The new pitcher is Pat Dobson. Dobson, who is 6'3", a right-hander, comes from, his home is in Durham, North Carolina. He was born in Depew, New York. During the season, He won 5, he lost 8, earned run average 2.66. He's a sinker baller. McCarver pops it up. McAuliffe should get that one easily. He does, 1 gone. 3-0 in favor of the Redbirds. Mike Shannon, who started the scoring, and it was only proper, I suppose, because he led the team in runs batted in during the season. And so then, he drove in the first run of the World Series. Javier followed with a 2-run single, and that's the ball game right now. 3-0. Mike Shannon hit 266 during the regular season. That forces him back a little bit. A native-born St. Louisan, a great all-around athlete. Went to the University of Missouri, Shannon. That curveball missed inside. They say he'd have been no question about it, a great quarterback in pro football. Big, strong, fast, and as you see on the close-up, very handsome, ladies. Whoa! Watch it, sir. Watch it. Yeah, that gentleman just ruined a $150 pair of slacks for a $2.75 baseball. But no greater thrill has a fan than to come home with a baseball. Bouncing ball. Watch Stanley. Got him! And it was close. Stanley played the big hop, and he was very deliberate in his throw, but got his man. He hasn't done anything wrong around shortstop. Julian Javier singled in 2 runs in the 4th, was out on strikes in the 2nd. Next to Maris, he is the oldest Cardinal at age 32. From the Dominican Republic. Was obtained by the Cardinals in a trade with Pittsburgh for Vinegar Ben Mizell. Mizell went on to help the Pirates win the pennant that year, as the Cardinals predicted he would. Javier was a minor league ball player in the papers here in St. Louis, and we on the airways were asking the question, who's Javier? We know now. Inside and low. This is 9th year with the Cardinals. Known for his defense, but he fooled you with his power. Bouncing ball foul. Joe Schultz, the third base coach, let the ball skip by. So while the Cardinals helped the Pirates win a pennant by trading a Mizell back there in 1960, Mizell long since is retired and is now in politics down in Carolina, and Javier has been the Stars' second baseman for 9 years.
Remember also, Harry, he broke up Lomborg's no-hitter last year. He was the only player, in fact, to get a hit off Lomborg in the second game of the series at Boston. He had a double in that 8th inning with 2 outs.
2 men are out, 3 balls and a strike. The outfield plays Javier straight away. Dobson pitches high, ball 4. So Javier is on with 2 out. Now the Cardinals have been running. I don't know whether they've been running on the pitchers or running on freehand. There's no way it wouldn't be fair for even to try to conjecture from up here. But they haven't hesitated to run. They have stolen 2 bases. Maxwell is a good hit-and-run man, by the way. He hit 252 this past season, his best year in the majors. Dobson again a little high. I notice Dobson, much like McLean, is high with his pitches. You know, it could be a lack of familiarity with the mound, too, Kurt. You only, for many of these ball players, I suppose, the first time they even saw Bush Memorial Stadium, let alone playing it.
That's right.
So that has to be a little bit of a disadvantage. There he goes. Out! They got him. Javier doesn't believe it. Oh, there's no runs in the sixth for the Cardinals. Let's see if we can watch that play again.
Javier got a good jump at Freehan this time, gets rid of the ball quickly. Mickey Stanley handled it. Here it is from a different angle. This was a close play.
Let's see. Let's all umpire this play. I guess that's long enough. Look, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. The end of 6. St. Louis 3, Detroit nothing. You know, if NBC could have supplied the umpires one of these sets and given them time to look at that slow motion, they might have given a different decision that time. But I tell you, I bet you those umpires are right 1,000 times out of 1,001. From the looks of the slow motion, they may have missed that one. Willie Horton leading off. Ooh, what a cut. You can see why he hit 36 home runs, but he fouled it off. Like so many of the Tigers, this is his first World Series.
Look at his neck and shoulders, Harry. That's where his power is.
You know who he reminds me of, especially when looking down from the booth? Roy Campanella.
Right, they're both built a lot alike.
Has the same stance that Campy used to have.
He used to be a catcher in high school, this boy, in the Detroit High School.
1 ball, 1 strike. It's seldom you beat Gibson in late innings. But the Tigers have made a career out of it, winning more than 30 games in the 9th inning this past season. Maxfield grabs a hot line drive. That's 2 line drives.
This wasn't as difficult as the previous one. But he was there for it. He still had to have quick reflexes to move in the hole.
He's a very underrated ball player, Kurt. He does a tremendous job around shortstop. Here's Jim Northrup. 1 ball, no strike. So the Tigers have 4 hits, actually more than the Cardinals. They've hit several balls on the nose, line drives at the shortstop that have been caught. So they haven't exactly been handcuffed, although they're losing 3-0. Northrup is fanned and hit a hot line drive to Maxfield. Curve is a beauty. 2 strikes and a ball. The crowd buzzing now as Gibson gets closer and closer to another World Series victory. Can't beat fun at the old ballpark. And as you notice, everybody here in shirt sleeves today. Jim Northrup lives in Detroit, Michigan. He struck him out swinging. Strikeout number 12. And we may see, it was just 5 years ago today, October the 2nd, 1963, that Sandy Koufax fanned 15 at Yankee Stadium for the record. And Alan Roth, you're amazing.
Gibson has struck out now at least 1 man in every inning. He's been consistent with those strikeouts. His big inning was the second when he struck out the side.
Bill Freehan up there, he has fanned and walked. I referred to our statistician, Alan Roth, who is a fountain of fingertip information. That's why he never gets a manicure. Two balls, no strikes. 7th inning, St. Louis ahead 3-0. With 2-0, he went to a breaking ball and split the plate with it.
He's really been getting that curve over today, Harry.
2 balls and a strike. 2 out. Fouled out of play. Bob Gibson is author of a book, Ghetto to Glory. He's from Omaha, Nebraska, you know. And the town is really proud of him. As well they might be. Whoa, the crowd groans on that one. All three. Naturally, as Gibson's getting close to a strikeout record, anything anywhere near the plate, the St. Louis fans want to have called a strike. 3-2 pitch. Struck him out. Strikeout number 13, nothing across for Detroit in the seventh. We go into the bottom of the seventh inning. It's St. Louis 3, Detroit nothing. Where are you now, Tony Kubek?
Harry Carey, I'm right down here with the wife and daughter, Mrs. Bob Gibson and Renee Gibson. Mrs. Gibson, you must be proud of Bob once again.
I sure am, as usual.
Well, that's good. We'd like to talk to you longer. The game's about to begin. Renee, you proud of your daddy?
Yes, I am.
Renee, Mrs. Gibson, thank you. Let's go back upstairs for some baseball action.
Dow Maxville leading it off for the Cardinals, bottom of the seventh inning. 3-0, St. Louis. Fastball inside. Pat Dobson, who relieved Denny McLain. A little low. McLain had good stuff today. You could see why he won 31 ball games so far as the stuff, but he's just a little bit wide. I would imagine unfamiliarity with the mound might have had something to do with it. Maxville pops it up. Norm Cash puts it away. Let's see. Listen to the reaction from the crowd as Bob Gibson comes up. Gibson sacrificed in the third, struck out in the fourth. He's a good hitter. Fouled it back. This is the second time in World Series competition that Gibson has fanned 13 men, and this game isn't over yet. He fanned 13 against the Yankees in 1964. Gibson holds the series strikeout record, 31, against the Yankees in 1964. This is his seventh game World Series competition. And listen to his strikeout totals. 9, 13, 9, 10, 6, 10, and 13 so far today. Pop fly on the infield. That's for Cash. 2 out. There's Lou Brock coming out. Gibson is shooting for a record share with Lefty Gomez and Red Ruffing of 6 consecutive wins in series competition. If he wins this one, he'll move in to that record book with Gomez and Ruffing. If he pitches a complete game, he sets a new record for most consecutive complete games.
He wasn't KO'd once during the season, was he, Harry?
Not actually KO'd. He went out for a pinch hitter a couple of times.
But never knocked out by the other ball club.
No. Brock takes it high. In fact, one of the games that he went out, he had pitched a one-hitter but was losing 1-0 in the 8th inning. He pitched 13 shutouts, as Kurt told you earlier. And I believe something like 10 games he allowed 1 run. Little tap, foul. 2 strikes and a ball. 2 out.
Brock's a tough batter for the third baseman. He has to play in shallow and shade the line. And as Harry's been pointing out, he can hit to the opposite field, and sometimes he'll hit those wicked shots down there to that third baseman shallow.
That he does. 2 strikes on the ball. Rush him back. Pat Dobson, a right-hander, to the relief of Denny McLean. McLean was touched for 3 runs on 2 hits and 2 walks. 1 error also involved in the 4th inning. Ball 3 is low. For St. Louis fans, the action starts when Brock gets on first base. He's where the action is, in other words. 3-2 pitch. Long drive, way back. Might be out of here. Could be. Home run! Lou Brock hit one a mile high into the right center field stands, and the Cardinals lead 4-0. And there are the Albertos down there, naturally very happy. Remember the home run he hit at Fenway Park last fall? This is about the same type.
That ball was hit well over 400 feet, Harry.
That's the 3rd home run he's hit in series play. Well, Brock has had a home run, the only one of the day. He has stolen a base. And the Cardinals now lead 4-0. Here's Flood hitless. Smash, base hit. Flood singles to center. The Cardinals now have 5 hits. Roger Maris getting a big hand. You know, this is one of the great stories of sports. How a fella so unpopular with fans while a member of the Yankees changes uniform and becomes the toast of the town in St. Louis. That's what's happened to Roger Maris. They love him here. Right. Flood, a good runner himself. Cardinals have tried to steal 3 times, succeeded twice, so they've been running on the Tigers. Curveball in there, a beauty, a strike call. Dobson changing speeds with his curveball. Roger Maris. He wants to go out in a blaze of glory. He ends the season, his career this year. Roger's 34 years old. He could play a few more seasons. He's anxious to move to his new home at Gainesville, Florida. There goes Flood. Save for stolen base. Just see the good break he got off first base, and he beats the throw easily. There's that other angle now. That Flood with his first step was going at full speed. Now the Cardinals have a man in scoring position. They have stolen 3 bases. They fail once, and that one time close enough to precipitate a mild discussion. So they've been running. 2 strikes and a ball. Pop foul back. Out of play. You know, I guess it's no all right to mention this, that talking with some of the Cardinals, they undoubtedly from scouting reports freely discussed the fact that, according to information they had, that they didn't think Detroit pitchers held runners too closely at first base, and that if they got on base, they felt that they would steal a lot of bases. Well, they have. Outside. 2-2. Maris' 16th year as a professional, 12 of them in the major leagues. His home originally, Fargo, North Dakota.
Famous for his home runs, but always been underrated as an outfielder, Harry. And very seldom makes a mistake defensively.
Ball three, almost threw it away. 3-2 now. Yeah, he's been the complete ball player. Good runner, great arm, fine fielder, power hitter. And at age 34, he's racking them up. He had a great World Series last season. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Maris. Cepeda next. Pop set up. He fooled him on a slider. McAuliffe under the ball. That's all for the Cardinals in the 7th. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 7 full innings, St. Louis 4, Detroit nothing. With Kurt Gowdy and Tony Kubek, Harry Carey at Bush Memorial Stadium. We're in the top of the 8th inning. A pinch hitter up there, Eddie Matthews, 37-year-old veteran, appearing in his 3rd World Series, his 1st as an American leaguer. On the disabled list much of this year, the count on him, 2 strikes and the ball. He struck him out swinging. That is number 14. Eddie Matthews batting for Don Wirt. Went down swinging.
Harry, here's a man that was almost incredible this year as a pinch hitter, Gates Brown. When you read that average off of a pinch hitter.
462 as a pinch hitter with 18 hits, 9 of them for extra bases. Gates Brown, a left-handed batter, pinch hitting here. Cardinals leading 4-0. The next strikeout, if he gets one, for Gibson, will tie the World Series record for strikeouts in a game. It's a little low. 4-0, St. Louis. Bob Gibson doing it again. Little low, ball 2. Gates Brown from Crestline, Ohio originally. That's where he was born. Swings, pop fly, short left. Brock will get it. 2 gone. And here's Dick McAuliffe. You know, Kurt, in order for Gibson to either tie or break that World Series strikeout mark, he will really have to earn it, because the heart of the batting order still will come up. We have McAuliffe now with 2 out in the 8th. Stanley, Kaline, and Cash are sure to bat in the 9th. I remember when Carl Erskine fanned 14 in a World Series against the Yankees while he was a member of the Brooklyn Dodgers. That held up as the record until Sandy Koufax broke it. Foul back.
You've watched this man so many times, but one word I think really describes him: a machine. He is really a machine on that mound. He's as tough right now as he was in the 1st or 2nd inning.
He's the most intense competitor I ever saw. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bob Gibson. Line foul, strike 2. Don McMahon is warming up. Gates Brown batted for Pat Dobson, flied out to Brock. Eddie Matthews started the inning as a pinch hitter for Wirt, struck out. And now McAuliffe with a count of 2 strikes and a ball. Watch this pitch. It could be a historic one. Fly ball, left field. That's all. 1, 2, 3, nothing across as McAuliffe flied to Brock. At the end of 7.5 innings, it remains the Cardinals 4, Detroit nothing. And now our man around the ballpark, Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Harry. Down here by the Tigers dugout with Mr. Joe Cronin, president of the American League. Joe, it looks like another fine series.
Well, between Gibson's great pitching and the base on balls, why the dear old Cardinals are ahead, Tony. But still a long series. We get them tomorrow. If we don't get a few runs before it's over, it's not over yet.
Joe, where'd you get that nice-looking NBC cap from? Is it helping you out?
Through the courtesy of NBC, many millions of fans are watching this game.
Joe, you've seen, of course, this Tiger ball club many times during the course of the year. They've been the type of ball club, haven't they, that bounces back?
Oh, yes, they got a good sound ball club, Tony, but Gibson's great today. He's real fast, got good breaking stuff, and you have to give Gibson all the credit in the world.
What about your other impressions? Aside from Gibson, what about the rest of this Cardinal ball club? Brock, Flood, the whole bunch.
Well, Brock's a great ball player, and 2-line drives at Maxwell might have turned the game around, too, Tony, as you know. Those balls were well hit that Maxwell caught at shortstop. They were the 2 fielding plays of the game.
Joe Cronin, thank you so much. Now let's go back upstairs to Kurt and Harry.
Harry, Joe Cronin talked about Bob Gibson's breaking pitch. I think that's been the key to Gibson today. We all know what a fastball has got, but he really has had a curveball and has been getting it over. How well would you say he's pitched today with his curve compared to regular season games?
His last start, he had a great curveball. He said the best curveball he had all year, and apparently it has stuck with him for the first game of the World Series. You know, he's a very proud man, this Gibson, Kurt, and if it was to be a contest between the 2 greatest pitchers in the game, and that's what it was billed and is, Gibson was going to win because he just thinks he's the greatest. And certainly he has lived up to that. Cepeda, strike called. Don McMahon, 38-year-old veteran, years of experience in the National League with Milwaukee, Houston, then in the American League with Cleveland, the Red Sox, White Sox, and now with the Detroit Tigers, for whom he did some fine work during the season. He won 5, lost 2. Great earned run average. Right-hander delivers, and it's high. 2 balls and a strike. Cepeda the hitter. He's nothing out of 3. Hit 1 ball very hard that Horton grabbed in the 5th. Popped up. Bill Freehan has it. Dick Trzaskowski is now playing third base as a result of work having been pinch hit for.
One defensive feature the fans might watch for in this series, Norm Cash and Bill Freehan going for foul balls. They're both outstanding handling fouls.
Here's McCarver. He tripled for the first Cardinal hit in the second. Nothing happened as a result. McLean came right back to fan the next 2 men. He walked in the 4th and scored. Popped up in the 6th. McCarver the batter. Don McMahon throws low and inside. McLean pitched the first 5 innings. Then Pat Dobson went the next 2 for the Tigers. Foul ball back. The count is even at a ball and a strike. 4-0 St. Louis. I saw Frank Blair this morning, and I believe he gave a computerized final score of 5-2. The machine has missed it so far. It's 4-0. He had it Cardinals 5-2 on the Today Show.
They still have the 9th inning.
Two balls and a strike. McCarver the batter. The big first game of the World Series Riles against Lolick tomorrow. Then a day off, and then Saturday it starts in Detroit. It's high, ball 3. Dobson, during his 2 innings, allowed 2 hits, 1 run, a homer by Lou Brock. He didn't strike anybody, walked 1. Bouncing ball, Cash. Pitcher McMahon will cover. He's out. Here's Mike Shannon, who started the scoring for the Redbirds, back in the 4th. I've mentioned our demon statistician, Alan Roth, and Shore and Begora, our production manager, comes in for a bow. Jim O'Gorman. Like Gorman isn't Irish enough, he had to put an O. Shannon fouls it. Two men are out, nobody on base. McLean, Dobson, and now McMahon for the Tigers. Ground ball, that's through there. Base hit. So Shannon has become the first man today to get 2 hits. Here's Javier. He was out on strikes in the 2nd, singled in 2 runs in the 4th, smashing one into right field to score McCarver and Shannon. Then walked and was out stealing in the 6th. The Cardinals are tough in World Series competition. Ground ball, that's through there. Base hit. So Shannon has become the first man today to get 2 hits. Here's Javier. He was out on strikes in the 2nd, singled in 2 runs in the 4th, smashing one into right field to score McCarver and Shannon, then walked and was out stealing in the 6th. The Cardinals are tough in World Series competition. One ball, no strikes. They've won more World Series than any major league team with the exception of the Yankees. Cardinals have won 8 out of the 11 they've participated in, including the last 4 they've played in. 1 ball, 1 strike as a result of the foul tip. A runner at first base, 2 men are gone, bottom half of the 8th inning. The Tigers come down to the 9th with the heart of the batting order, Mickey Stanley, Al Kaline, and Norm Cash. Gibson is shooting at a couple of records as he goes into the 9th inning. I wonder if he's aware of it down there in the dugout. Now, Tony, you've done such a great job all day long. Let's see you get in the dugout. Tell him. Here's a pitch. High fly ball into center field. It'll be caught. Northrup squeezes it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 8, St. Louis forward, Detroit, nothing. Now a line drive to Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Harry Carey. We're sitting with the president and owner of the Detroit Tigers, Mr. John Fetzer. Mr. Fetzer, can the Tigers bounce back?
Well, we've been coming from behind all year, and we're just hoping that we might show a little of that spark right here this afternoon. If we can't, we're going to forget it and start all over tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Fetzer. Let's get back to live action.
All right. Mickey Stanley on the first pitch was trying to stop his swing, and bounces one fouled on the first baseline. 1 strike and no balls. Gibson can tie the record for consecutive wins in a World Series. He can set a new World Series record for 6 complete games in a row. He can tie or break the strikeout record for a World Series game in this 9th inning. Her ball is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stanley's had 1 of the 4 hits. A first inning single. He has had 1 of the 14 strikeouts in the 6th. You notice how Gibson really comes off that back foot. He really lets everything go. Two balls and a strike. Mickey Stanley fouls back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Let's watch this pitch. It could be a record pitch coming up.
Harry, also, Bob Gibson, if he holds on to this lead, can become the first National League pitcher to ever win 6 World Series games.
It could be a productive afternoon. He looks oblivious to it all. Here it is. Foul out of play.
The crowd here knows the strike, what he's shooting at. Every time the count gets to 2 strikes, they start to stir through the stands. They know he's 1 strikeout away from tying the record.
1 from tying and 2 from breaking it. 2-2 pitch. Foul back. Every time any kind of contact is made with a ball by the hitter, the crowd groans. Just as soon as the bat ticks the ball, the groan is audible. It can also be heard. Foul again. Lou Cusero, I think you're right. It's the transistor radios in the crowd that have informed them as they're getting the NBC radio report. 2-2 pitch. Right up this way. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So he still has a shot at that strikeout. Mickey Stanley. A lot of time on this one. Base hit. A single to center for Stanley. He hit a slider about belt high. Well, the Tigers are 4 runs behind. But this is a plucky ball club all year long. The 9th inning was the one that they turned ball games around in. K-Line is fanned twice. He also doubled to set up the only scoring chance the Tigers had. Ooh, he had a cut. Good fastball. I don't believe Gibson has changed up on a single pitch. It's all fastball, slider, and curve.
That low fastball of his has really been sinking, too.
Missed.
Now what, Harry? Curveball?
I think you'll go with the mustard. Let's see. 2 strikes, no ball. Stanley at first. Cepeda not holding him on. Miss outside with his fastball. Norm Cash would be next. Al Kaline, who has waited 16 years to play in a World Series game. Fouls it out of play off to the right. 2 strikes and a ball. Isn't it a funny game? With all the suspense now, just on an inconsequential thing like a strikeout. All over the world, people, I'm sure, are tensed as they are here at the ballpark for this pitch. Foul back over our heads. He may be showing just a little sign of tiring on a hot, muggy day, Kurt. You notice that little deep breath he took, or like a sigh?
Notice he hasn't been coming as smooth as in his delivery, as in his stride as he was earlier.
2 strikes and a ball. The pitch to K-Line. Got him! Listen to the crowd. Standing ovation for Bob Gibson. He has just tied a World Series record. Here's Norm Cash now. 1 ball, no strikes. The record was held by Sandy Koufax, NBC's Game of the Week crew, by the way. Swung and missed. He wants to establish a new record now, and he needs 1 strikeout with 2 men to go.
He's been consistent. He struck out at least 1 man in every inning.
It is such a dramatic scene that I find myself not wanting to say a word because your picture's telling you the whole story. Out of play. We'll still have a shot at him. 2 strikes and a ball.
Right now, the fans are concentrating more on Gibson's strikeout than the outcome of the game here.
I think that's been true for a couple of innings. Cash is fanned twice. K-Line struck out 3 times, by the way. Listen to him as he gets ready for this pitch. Foul out of play. 2 strikes and a ball. Wasn't it Dizzy Dean in the World Series against the Tigers in '34 that yelled to his catcher to drop a pop foul so that he could strike Hank Greenberg out a 4th time? I think it was. Fouled it off. Just barely. He had a rather weak swing.
There's a lot of hard feelings in that 34 series, and Dean especially has been on Greenberg during the series. There's been a lot of dugout barbs thrown back and forth.
2 strikes and a ball. Ooh, he almost chased it. 2-2. Willie Horton will be next. He needs a strikeout for a new record. Al Kaline, great star, playing his first World Series in 16 years, was his 15th strikeout. Once again, a standing ovation. A new World Series record. Here's Willie Horton now. 2 men are gone. He is paying 16. Fastball outside. A salvo out of the stands in left center.
Gibson's going to pick up records today like a vacuum cleaner, Harry.
1 ball, no strikes. High pop foul back. He got 2 strikeouts in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 2 in the sixth, 2 in the seventh, 1 in the eighth, 2 so far in the ninth. What a remarkable performance. 1 ball, 1 strike. Foul back. Strike 2. And he could end it all now with the most dramatic of flourishes. 2 strikes and a ball. Biggest crowd ever to see a baseball game here. Watching baseball World Series history being made. And so are you wherever you are. 2 strikes and a ball. Look at that concentration on his face. Almost chased it. A breaking ball. Willie Horton stopped in time. Just think, he's accounted for 16 of the putouts all by himself. He got it! Struck him out! Look at the scene on the field. McCarver, the first one. Now his infielders all over him. A new world's record of 17 strikeouts in 1 game. Tony Kubek, I know, will be talking to him. The St. Louis Cardinals have won the first game of the World Series 4-0. 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Redbirds. No runs, 5 hits, 3 errors for the Detroit Tigers. Bob Gibson, the winner.
And right now, let's get quickly down to Tony Kubek and his guest, Bob Gibson.
Thank you very much, Kurt. Bob Gibson in your new book, From Ghetto to Glory. Right now, probably one of your most glorious moments. World Series records all over the place. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Just great.
What about your impressions, Bob, of the Tigers? You just pitched a fantastic ball game again. What about the Tigers?
Well, the Tigers they're quite a bit like I imagined they would be with guys that are capable of hitting home runs. I knew they would be swinging a lot, so I just had to make good pitches.
Bob, what about the pitch you used most successfully? Was it the fastball, the curveball, the slider? Which was your best pitch, or were they all good?
Well, today, fortunately, every one of my pitches were working for me. My fastball was good. I was getting it on the corner. My slider I was getting on the corner, and I think my curveball was more of a surprise to them than anything else. So I think that's where the scouting reports help. I don't think they said too much about my curveball.
Bob, you struck out 17, setting a new World Series record. It's fantastic. I mean, the fans just stood and cheered you. That must be your most thrilling moment in sports. You've had many.
Well, I guess so. I didn't know what they were cheering about, and Tim came out in front of the plate, and I just turned around and looked at the scoreboard. I had no idea.
Bob, during the course of the game, we had a chance to talk to your lovely wife, Mrs. Gibson, your daughter, Renee, and we saw your mother there up there. Your daughter, Renee, was just enthralled. She was almost in tears seeing her daddy out there perform. She's really proud of you.
That's right. She was real excited about getting out of school and coming down here. She's just going to be here for the 1 game today, and then tonight she's going back home, and I knew that she would enjoy the game, win, lose, or draw.
Bob Gibson, congratulations once again. Thank you so much. It's a masterful performance once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob Gibson. Now let's go back upstairs.
Again, the final score, the Cardinals 4, the Tigers nothing. In a moment, we'll continue to review the action of today's game. Once again to the field, and Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt. Lou Brock, another one of the stars for the Cardinals. Last year's World Series again this. Lou, a fine ball game.
Thank you, Tony.
Let me ask you something about your injury. You went off the field. In fact, your trainer came out to talk to you. Anything serious? What specifically is it?
Well, Tony, actually, I jammed the shoulder going into second base, and, of course, right then and there, one of those type plays that flash went through the body. It just stunned you for a second, and, of course, I couldn't lift the arm for a split second, and I ran to third base, and, of course, I tried to lift it in, and I found I couldn't, so I needed a few moments so I get back to get the shoulder back in place.
Well, it's nothing serious, really, that will keep you out of the next World Series game.
Well, I hope not. It's hard to tell until tonight, and, of course, I hope not. And with our trainer, I hope that I'll be able to come back tomorrow.
Lou, let's ask your impressions of the Tigers, of course, and let's have your impressions of Denny McLain. What about McLain? How did he look to you?
Well, actually, Denny McLain today was somewhat wild, Tony, and, of course, he couldn't get his pitches down. He had good stuff, but he was just wild and high, and he couldn't get it down. And of course, we decided to take, and we did, and, of course, we got a couple of hits in between, and I think that's the ball game.
What about the rest of the Tigers? You talked about McLain. What about them as a team? Do they impress you in any way whatsoever?
They most certainly do. They come out there swinging at bat. Of course, when you got a guy like Gibson pitching, is awful tough for any ball club, that is. Any day that Gibson is right, he's going to be tough to beat. And, of course, they battled Gibson all the way, and I'm sure that they'll come out again tomorrow swinging.
Lou Brock, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on. Hope you have another successful series.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Lou Brock. Now back upstairs.
Again, the final score. The Cardinals 4, the Tigers nothing. In a moment, we'll continue to review the action of today's game. To pitch 6 consecutive complete game victories in the World Series. He's the first National League pitcher to win 6 World Series games. And, of course, set an all-time World Series strikeout record with his 17 strikeouts. 3 pretty tough hitters he got out of the 9th inning. Kaline, Cash, and Horton, Harry Carey.
As we indicated before, in order for him to get the record, he was really going to have to earn it, and he did. And he just wanted to prove he's the greatest pitcher alive, and he may have done that here today, Kurt, I'll tell you.
14 shutouts this year, 13 in the regular season. The fellow seems to be at his best with the biggest pressure on him.
You remember we were talking about his curveball today, and I noticed he said to Tony Kubek that his curveball was better today, and apparently the scouting reports had encouraged him to throw more curves. In his last outing during the regular season, he was impressed with the fact that his curveball had improved so much. And if he's added another great pitch to what he already had, how are you ever going to beat him?
Well, tomorrow it's going to be a right-hander, a 19-game winner, Nelson Bryles. Mickey Lolich, a 17-game winner, and watch out for Lolich. He can be a real sleeper, Harry. He finished the season very strongly, just as he did last year. He's a left-hander that may give the Cardinals a lot of trouble. Now, we'll be back with more about the 1968 World Series and a look at tomorrow's second game.